Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Community Connections. We are super excited for today's class. Our Elixir Kitchen team has some incredible recipes and nutrition tips for you today. So thank you for joining us. My name is Jeremy Capone. I am the wellness chef, and joining me, as always, the amazing registered dietitian, Daniela Furini. Hello.
Hi, Jeremy. Thank you for that intro. Yes, excited to be here. And we thought today that we often get questions about peripheral neuropathy and are there any things we can do from a nutrition perspective or from a cooking perspective. So we thought today we would focus on our nutrition and culinary demo just on that. So useful strategies for managing your neuropathy with food choices that can help to support the function of your immune system, your nervous system, and meal prep techniques that can keep you safe in the kitchen, because we know that that can be something of concern. Now, we did a quick little literature review, and some of the key points are that eating a well-balanced diet, no surprise, right, can help prevent or reduce symptoms of neuropathy. But there are some vitamins and minerals that they did point out that are getting some special attention. And these vitamins, they're the B vitamins. So mainly the B vitamins, thiamine, which is also known as vitamin B1, and vitamin B12, folate. They're also looking at vitamin D and E, and then an antioxidant called alpha lipoic acid. So we are going to discuss these vitamins and minerals from a perspective of foods that are rich in these nutrients. We are not going to talk about supplementation because that's a whole different program. And I think if you're looking at supplementation, you want to talk with your healthcare team about that. The other thing that came up in our review and our literature is that constipation can be a concern with the straining, right? So you really want to avoid constipation. Talk to your doctor if you have constipation and you need laxatives. But what we will do is provide you with info on a diet that's rich in fiber and fluid that can help possibly prevent constipation. And last but not least, it's not something that we often do in the kitchen, but we just want to point out that alcohol and smoking can actually make the neuropathy worse. So it is advisable to avoid alcohol intake if you can, and to find ways to stop smoking. All right, that's enough of me talking. We want to get to the recipes, and Jeremy, as per usual, has created several scrumptious recipes for us that feature the key nutrients I just mentioned that support a healthy nervous system. So they are a mushroom and spinach baked eggs, corn and miso soup, and pumpkin tiramisu. So with the eggs, our first recipe is rich in protein, the B vitamins and folate that I just mentioned, and it also contains a good amount of vitamin D and E. Jeremy, as per usual, does a great job at getting all the good nutrients in there. It also has some antioxidants like the alpha lipoic acid. And all these nutrients play a role in improving the health of our nervous system. So back to you, Jeremy.
Thank you, Daniela. Yes, wonderful introduction. We're going to jump right into the first recipe. And again, a lot of these ingredients, Daniela will provide a little bit more information around how it can be beneficial. From a cooking perspective, I'm going to try to share some tips and maybe some tools that you can use in the kitchen that might make the cooking part of the work a little bit easier. If you're dealing with peripheral neuropathy, you probably know that it can be a little challenging for to grab some of the tools, the knives, the heavy pots and pans, and it can make cooking stressful and more challenging. So a few things that you can use, and there are some great resources out there on adaptive cooking tools. Things like can openers and jar openers and different blades, not like your traditional knife, but something that's a little bit easier to grip. Make sure to, if we don't mention it, we'll make sure to include links for those in the description of the videos from these recipes, okay? But we're gonna jump right into the first recipe. We're going to be making a wonderful breakfast dish. Actually, we say it's breakfast. I mean, you can really eat eggs any time of the day. So this would be, I think, perfect, Daniela, maybe for lunch and dinner as well.
Definitely. I'm a big believer in switching it up in the kitchen, and breakfast for dinner, dinner for breakfast. Go for it.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so mushroom, spinach, eggs, really nice pairing of different flavors. With the mushrooms, we're going to start off there. If you're using fresh, and you can definitely, you can go with like a jarred or a canned mushroom, but if you're using fresh mushrooms, they're not the most challenging vegetable to prep, but holding a knife might be a little difficult. So a little tip with mushrooms, what I'm going to do to prepare them to make them a little bit easier is got a couple here. Obviously, use like about a cup for this dish. I've already had some going in my pan. But instead of holding a knife to slice them, what I'll do is just get my mushrooms on my cutting board. And if it's easier to hold like a jar, in the bottom of a coffee mug, and then all you have to do is just gently, and it doesn't really require a lot of pressure, but just gently press it into the board. And what you have is all of these pieces ready to go. This is perfect for a dish like this. I don't need perfectly sliced. You don't need perfectly diced or sliced mushrooms here. All of these little mushroom pieces are going to cook up perfectly. I actually like the irregularity of the size. I think it works really well in this dish as well. So again, don't even need the knife. Just a little bit of pressure. Clean the mushrooms, but then a little bit of pressure just to crush the mushrooms, and then they just fall apart. And these are cremini mushrooms, pretty much the same as like your white button. You're just getting maybe a little bit more flavor in these, but you can use any mushrooms for this. You can also, if you're able to hold the mushroom, you can even just gently tear them apart. Like if you have like an oyster, shiitake mushroom, those will easily tear apart. So again, ingredients that are a little bit easier to prep where you don't actually need to grip a knife will be helpful. And I just have it in a pan here. So have a little bit with a little bit of olive oil, just to, and again, you can use a smaller pan, but just to take out some of the moisture, add a little bit of color that's going to concentrate the flavor. You can definitely go as is, just throw the mushrooms after you crush it in the oven. This is just an extra step if you do want to concentrate the flavor a little bit more. But if you do find that an extra pan might be a little more challenging, then go ahead, skip the step, go ahead and just add the crushed mushrooms right in. And so while the mushrooms cooking bits,
Maybe before you go on to the next step, Jeremy, I'll just give some cool facts about mushrooms.
Beautiful.
So they are becoming more popular. There was a while when we just didn't think about mushrooms at all, didn't really think it was one of the colors of the rainbow. But mushrooms are rich in vitamin B, and they also have some vitamin D. And there's a lot more research right now on mushrooms and vitamin D, on how if you expose the mushrooms to ultraviolet light, it actually gives you more of the usable vitamin D that our body needs. And you may notice already in the grocery stores that they do sell some mushrooms that say added vitamin D. With that said, I bet they're also going to be higher in cost. So cool. If it's on sale, give it a try. Know that that's what's happening. They're exposing it to ultraviolet light. Otherwise, still good to have the mushrooms because they are an excellent source of B vitamins and also fiber. And seriously, really, kind of, sort of, they're my favorite vegetable.
Yes, I love mushrooms too. All right, so mushrooms doing their thing. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, medium high heat, just to get some of the water out, get a little bit of color there. Then we're going to move on to the dish in our egg. So I like to do these in the oven. You can absolutely cook them right in the pan that you're cooking the mushrooms in. But I want to show you a little trick to make it a little bit easier on the cleanup side of things. And cleanup is part of cooking, and it can be a little challenging. It can take time, it can take energy. So one way to make that a little bit easier, any oven-proof dish that you're using. So I have this like kind of little ceramic one here. I can do this in this pan as well. What I'll do is I'll take a piece of parchment. You may have already guessed where I was going with this. Then we're gonna get a piece of parchment about the size of my cooking dish, a little bit bigger. Tear off a piece, and then just to make it a little bit easier, just run it under a little bit of water. Just a, that'll make it a little easier just to sort of squish all, and then we'll unravel it. And now it'll be a lot easier to tuck into my little baking dish, right? And even if it has like a 1 inch, 2 inch lip, now it will sort of sink down into the dish and everything's gonna cook in here. This is gonna make it a lot easier for us to remove the dish afterwards, a lot easier on the cleanup as well. Okay, so that is going to be our little cooking vessel, our little nest, if you will. And to this, we're gonna go ahead and add our next ingredient. So we have our mushroom, next is spinach. We love frozen. Make it easy for yourself. This is gonna save, and we're talking about spinach here, but any frozen fruits and vegetables, you're gonna save a lot of time and a lot of work in terms of prep, right? Prep is going to be one of the biggest barriers probably to cooking. A lot of knife work, a lot of washing, a lot of chopping, a lot of peeling. So the frozen fruits and vegetables will make quick work of this. All the heavy lifting is already done here. And then nutrition-wise, I know we always talk about it, but Daniela.
Yes, definitely. So technology is so great now. They flash freeze the vegetables and fruits on the farm. It locks in the nutrition. It's just as nutritious as fresh. So take that hassle away from yourself and purchase the frozen fruits and vegetables, which are easier to add to the dish. Go for it. And just a couple of things on spinach, since we're here. Folate, we already know it contains folate, but it also contains vitamin B6, pyridoxine, which is key for nerve development, and then a little bit of vitamin E, and then that weird antioxidant I mentioned, alpha lipoic acid. There's some of that in the spinach.
So yes, that's spinach. We added enough. Now we're gonna send you the recipes, or we'll post the recipes. They'll be up by tomorrow, but they'll show you, measurements and what to follow. I just say with the spinach, just fill it about half of the way full of your baking dish, baking pan, whatever you're using. Okay, and you don't have to defrost it. That's the best part. Frozen, straight in. And then I'm gonna go ahead and crack my eggs on top of that. So if I have a big dish, and maybe you're cooking for more than one person, go ahead and crack like 5, 6 eggs in there. We'll see what fits in this dish. I'm guessing probably 3, maybe 4. Now, usually what I suggest is when you're cracking eggs, instead of on the corner, give it a little quick smash on a flat surface, and that will give you that split. It might be a little hard to see, but it'll give you the split, which will make it a lot easier to open without forcing the shells into the egg, which is nice. If you do find it a little challenging to grip the egg to do the smash and open it up, what you can do is just hold it in the palm of your hand, and you can use a fork, something that has a little bit of an edge to it, and just give it a little whack, and that will also crack it open. Do what else is easier. And then if even that if you find is a little bit challenging, you can use the carton eggs. Those will work really, really well. And you can just pour that on. That'll give you more of like a frittata or like an omelet style. Okay, I think we're going to fit 4 eggs nicely on top. Beautiful.
lost Jeremy for a little bit there. I think he's back in the background. So I'm just sneaking in a few tips, Jeremy.
Yes, please.
So the eggs, we all know, great source of protein, right? About 6 grams of protein per egg. Vitamin B12, I think we're also aware that it may contain vitamin B12, but did you know that there's actually a larger amount of vitamin B12 in the egg yolk? Just like the egg yolk also has vitamin D. So I'm a big proponent of have the whole egg, right? Don't worry. When we talk about cholesterol, we're not really talking about dietary cholesterol. And there's other factors that we need to be concerned, but from eggs, have the whole egg. You're getting better nutrition from having the white and the yolk. And that's, oh gosh, it's a dad joke, I guess. And that's no yolk.
I have to slow clap you on that. Thank you, Daniela. Well done. All right. So we have our eggs in our dish here. This is where you can season it up. It's simple. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. If you like it spicy, then you can definitely add, some chilies to this. They do have I've seen electric salt and pepper grinders. And again, even this turning action, if that's a little challenging, the electric is just a button. You press it, it kind of grinds it for you. It's fantastic. Then we're gonna go and add some of these delicious mushrooms. Side. And again, I'm lifting the pan, but you can even just, scoop them out. Right, and then just finish it off to take it to the next level, as they say. We're gonna add a little bit of cheese. This is a little bit of Gruyere cheese. You can add a little bit of cheddar if you want, any of your favorite. Just a little bit, I think, goes a long way of really enhancing the dish. Now, for grating the cheese, there are some wonderful tools out there. There is one, and again, we'll provide the link to it in the show notes. And actually, a friend of ELLICSR Kitchen, Ian Taverner, he's a wonderful cook and just educator. And he actually, I've seen him use one of these tools before, where it is a cutting board, a non-slip cutting board with a grater attachment right into it. And all you have to do is just run the cheese or whatever you're grating. You can grate carrots, you can grate onion, whatever it is, and then it sort of falls into this nice little pocket inside the cutting board, which makes it really easy. Again, make the process work for you. Even from this point of view, I am standing and hunched over. This is purely for the video. But, if sitting down is a lot easier, sit down at your countertop, sit down at your kitchen table and do the prep there. So that is a lot easier. I'm using a grater. This is a microplane grater. It's a little bit lighter than a box grater. If you find the box grater easier, absolutely go for it. And what's nice is you can rest this. Let's see if I can show you. With this, you can rest this, and it has this little non-slip little grip here. I can rest this right on my cutting board and then just grate my cheese right over it. So because of the grip, it's not moving. So it makes it look easier. And then I have my cheese grated, ready to add it. I'll just add some big clumps to this. That's it. That is ready for the oven. So we're going to put this into the oven, 400 degrees for about 20-25 minutes. Okay, just until the eggs are cooked through. I find it easier to remove just with a pan like this. It may be a little harder to grip to get out of the oven. So I do find it easier to actually put it onto a baking tray. It gives me a much easier sort of grip to actually pull it out of the oven. Okay, so we're going to put this in. About 20-25 minutes. And when it's done, this is already cool, but a rule of thumb is it's great to actually use an oven mitt, or there was another name for it as well. Maybe you can chime in, but oven mitt, have.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah, no
Pot
worries.
holder, right? So you
Yeah.
might even want to use something to hold the pot, oven mitt, pot holder. Yeah.
All right, and there we have it. So I did one earlier in a pan. So again, you can use a pan, baking dish, whatever it is, and you can see again with the parchment, even though I have notoriously sticky ingredients that will be challenging to remove from the bottom of the pan, with the parchment, it makes it super easy. So I can just sort of grab the edges here and grab my plate. And then it will lift very easily right out of the pan. And then I can put it on a plate and we can serve. And this is, yeah, I would be happy having this as a dinner or lunch meal as well. But we have the spinach where the flavor is going to be concentrated, some of the water is evaporated, those delicious mushrooms, the eggs, have this with a nice little piece of crusty bread. And I think that's a nice meal. Happy days with this one. So here we go. Our mushroom, spinach, egg bake. Can't remember what we called it. Something.
Yeah, mushroom and spinach baked eggs, but maybe I like egg baked better. It looks awesome. It looks so good. And I love that you're serving it on the parchment paper. So it'll make cleanup easier too. So great idea. Great idea.